Hi everyone, welcome to Daily Revelations. We all want things to be good, right? And we all want to focus on the good. And that is something that we're always told. Look for the good in everything, right? Well, what if we're looking for the wrong good? There lies the problem. When we look into what God says is good versus what the world says is good, it's two different things. And if we're focused on the worldly definition of good, we're missing sight of what we should be focused on. And that may sound like it makes a lot of sense. But the problem is getting there is not that simple to understand as to what do I focus on. So I'm going to open up some scriptures and we're just going to dive into those and see what God says is what we should be focused on and what his version of good is. So in Psalm 4, verses 6 through 8, the psalmist says people are asking, who will show us any good? They're looking for good. And he said, lift up the light of your countenance. And that word countenance in here, I looked it up in the Hebrew, and it means his presence. Lift up your presence. Let us see your presence in the world. And he said that you have put gladness in my heart more than, by seeing that, by more than if we had economic prosperity. And in that time, economic prosperity meant that the grain was good and the wine was abundant. The crop came in. Are we too focused on economic abundance as good instead of God's presence in the things in our lives? That's the good. That's the good that we're missing. And the psalmist reminds us that that's where true gladness is found. And that also is where we dwell in safety. Why? Well, the next verses will point to that. So in Revelations, in chapter 23, we get a vision of what heaven will be like. And it says this in a variety, I'm piecing together about 6 different verses here. And the city has no need of the sun or the moon to shine on it, for the glory of God has illuminated it. And its lamp is the Lamb. The nations will walk in its light, and the kings of the earth will bring their glory into it, and they will bring the glory and honor of the nations into it. So everything that God has created that is good will be brought into heaven. These things are the good where God's presence has been. So if we're not focused on the good that is happening by God's version of good, we miss it. We miss what's being prepared for heaven because we're so focused on the prosperity and the economics and all of the things going on that we call good that probably will just fade away. And so this is a place in heaven where it says there will be no abomination and no lying. That means there'll be no false gods and lying will be done with, because who is our enemy? The Great Deceiver, the one who says that none of this matters. You need to live for now. You need to live for yourself. You need to live for economic prosperity. You need to live for here. But the problem is when we do that, our eyes get taken off what is really good, and that is God in the things in our lives. Okay, so I'm going to bring this into focus. Last week, I started trying out 2 different contact lenses, one for near vision and one for far vision, and getting my eyes focused on being able to see what's way ahead and what's right here. And as I was praying through this, God just put into my heart, you need to do the same thing with your heart. You need to have double vision. You need to see me in the present, but you also need to see that place where you are going and the place where my presence will be with you all the time. It's this dual vision. And oftentimes in prophecy in the Bible, it's written the same way. It's written for the here, the now, the close-up, and also for the extended. And so we can't just say, I will focus on heaven and I'll live for heaven, because we can't do it. In our own strength, we can't. We need to be able to cling on to the good that is God in every situation in our life, and then to see how He's taking that vision to us being ready for our time with Him in heaven. And I kind of wrote another picture. I'm not a good artist, but anyways, so this is this little person down here. That's me or you. And there's the cross. There's Jesus. There's where our circumstances are now. That's one eye on here, but the other eye needs to be focused here. And what goes in from here to here is only God's good. So as I was thinking about what do I need to do with this? How do I take this away? Is that, yes, God is in every situation in my life, and I have to find joy, contentment, the good of God in it, not the good that comes out for me. Sometimes it is, and God wants to bless us. But if we stop at that and we forget that this good is being worked out so that we can bring it into heaven with us, we've lost sight of the greater good that God is working out for all of us. So that's my daily revelation today, and thanks for joining me, and I'll see you again next time. Bye, everybody.